just when you thought the picture for Auburn's recruiting at quarterback was getting a little clear, other schools are like, no, we want him too.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Brian Smith, host of The Portal, that's Locked On's recruiting, transfer portal, NIL show, hanging out with us today. Brian, I've got 20 tabs open of 20 different guys and their profiles and all of that. And we'll get to as many of them as we possibly can today. Receivers, defensive backs. Let's start with quarterback. Israel Abrams, the standout from the Chicago area at quarterback. We've talked about him probably for over a month at this point, and we've seen some national writers put predictions in for him to be Auburn's quarterback in the 2027 class. And we've seen some other quarterbacks that Auburn was pursuing pivot to other guys. And now we're seeing Auburn look at other quarterbacks. And then Israel Abrams reports coming out 4 or 5 days ago that Miami is now involved in recruiting him. So kind of an interesting, it's going to be fun to see the dominoes fall where all these quarterbacks go, because we've talked about this timeline and this new calendar. They're probably going to start falling in the next month or two.
I would imagine they'll start falling the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's very, very possible. He's got multiple visits set up with Florida State. Miami's involved. It's a late March visit. So you have to ask.
Kentucky's on there. Auburn's on there. Kentucky's interesting. I mean, they've been throwing around some money.
Oh, absolutely. Purdue is on his list, which is somewhat random, although they're close. But if he goes to Purdue, that's not good for you. That would bother me. But he's got offers from pretty much everybody. No offense to Purdue, but they are terrible. So The point is still the same. He's your guy, but how long do you wait? This is the one spot every year. There's no fixing this. You're only going to take one guy. How long do you wait? Because if you lose on him, do you lose on the others while you wait? And I don't know if there's ever an answer to that. It's awful to be the coach. I don't have any advice. I talk to people about it all the time. They can't give me anything. It's more gut than anything else, like having conversations with the kid. But once Miami and schools like that get involved that have super heavy NIL packages, makes me a little nervous for anybody else. So,
well, and it sounds like they've made in a lot of these situations where maybe a school's trending for a little bit, they visit the other school and it's like, this is the offer. And maybe it's a bit inflated. And it's like, this offer is good for right now, or that is it. And Auburn's been the benefit of that, with some guys through the Hugh Freeze era, which maybe got us in some of the situation that we saw with the transfer portal in December. Regardless, it does work in getting the players to commit. And so at quarterback, you could argue that's more important there than at any other position. You and I've talked about how big it would be for Israel Abrams to commit early. It changes how you talk to these receivers. It changes how you talk to the offensive lineman. It changes how you talk to the opposing defensive backs. It changes the conversation of, hey, come on and get in the boat. Also, that guy's the captain of the boat, and we believe that he can, navigate whatever waters you want to. So Israel Abrams, the recruitment's tricky already. And I mean, recruitment for any of these elite quarterbacks is going to be tricky. There's 2 other names that I don't think you and I have talked about, at least publicly on the show. Maybe a little bit through the phone, but let's start with Jamison Roberts. In the 247 composite, he's a 4-star, 12th ranked player in the state of Alabama, 23rd ranked quarterback in the class, according to the composite. 6'2", 190 pounds is what they have the Maryland quarterback listed at. But you think this is a guy that could potentially make sense?
I was with him last weekend at a 7-on-7 tournament held by Southern Express just outside of Birmingham. And he was a guy that could spin it. And he plays for Saraland, which, if you're not familiar with the state, is top 5 program in the state of Alabama, very conservatively. They got another quarterback at Texas. They got Ryan Williams played there, et cetera. They got all kinds of players. In his first year as a starter, he had about 5,000 total yards. I don't care who you play for. Look,
yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah.
I believe Deshaun Spencer was his receiver. He's an, like, this will make Auburn fans happy. He grew up an Alabama fan, but after visiting, they kind of made him feel a little awkward. He's an Auburn fan now. So, so that probably
That's
is
hilarious. I love that.
Like, he told me that face to face. I'm like, wow. But
Rick?
whatever. He's been recruited very heavily by Oklahoma. He's the only quarterback they've offered, so they've caught his attention. That makes sense. But Georgia's close to offering him. Florida's involved. Like, he's really good. And I don't know why, but he doesn't get much attention nationally.
Maybe could be a riser during his senior year. Yeah.
100%. Very accurate.
Yeah. Another quarterback that we have not talked about on the show, Davidson.
Yeah.
Sarasota, Florida, goes to Cardinal Mooney. Seen a few articles in the Auburn world be written about him. Seems like Auburn is in on him for sure, which sounds like they got in on him late. They offered him on January 27th, and then so did everyone else, including the likes of Georgia, Notre Dame. I mean, several, P4 schools offering him when, the weeks following, Auburn offering him. Funny enough, the offer right before that was South Florida. Take that for what it's worth. But this is a pretty large kid, 6'6.5", 215 pounds. When you think about, what Alex Golesh and Byron Brown have done, this guy has a similar frame than what Byron did a few years ago.
Won state last year at Cardinal Mooney, and he's been MVP as quarterback at 2 different camps in January. Everybody saw it, and he got the offers off of that. He's accurate. He's pretty mobile. He's not Cam Newton, but he can move.
Yeah.
But most of all, he can spin it, and he can throw the ball all over the lot. So, yeah, he's got offers from pretty much everybody, and his spring visit list is extensive. I don't think he has a clue where he's going, but Auburn's going to be probably one of them that gets a visit.
Yeah. So a few quarterbacks, obviously Israel Abrams, the headliner there, but Jamison Roberts, and then Davin Davidson, both worthy of attention for sure. Auburn did something kind of cool and unique for a 5-star offensive lineman. Let's talk about that, as well as some receivers that are worth noting next, right here on Locked On Auburn.
I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. South Carolina rolled past Ole Miss 85-48 to clinch a share of the SEC regular season title and lock down the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. The Gamecocks extended their win streak over Ole Miss to 21 straight. UCLA dominated Wisconsin 80-60 to secure its first outright Big Ten regular season championship in program history. The Bruins improved to 27-1 overall and remain unbeaten in conference play. And number 12 TCU stormed back from a 13-point fourth quarter deficit to beat Iowa State 80-73. The Horned Frogs now sit alone atop the Big 12 standings and are 1 win away from clinching another regular season conference crown. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Today's show also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. They got a NBA sweepstakes going on right now. If you use your profit boost on FanDuel on any NBA future, you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2, flights, tickets, the whole experience, which is super, super cool. So any futures bet, I imagine the most common one of that will be betting on the Oklahoma City Thunder to win the NBA championship. My understanding is the Pistons are trending right now. Cade Cunningham going off, so take that for what it's worth as well. Also, if you want to look at some Auburn futures, Auburn is 7.5-point favorite in their season opener against the Baylor Bears in Atlanta. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Brian Smith, our guest, host of The Portal, hanging out with us. So it's always fun to see how different staffs use social media and content production in different ways, including recruiting and messaging. So Ismael Camara, he's a 5-star offensive lineman, number 3 offensive lineman in the 247 sports composite this class, which is important. You take all the 5-star offensive linemen you possibly can get. His birthday was about a week ago, and he's retweeting or he's posting a lot of stuff that I guess was sent to him from different schools, which makes sense. But the one that Auburn sent is there's a video, like people are just taking a video. It looks like they're at practice or doing workouts. And these players are saying, hey, Ismael, come play here. Can't wait to play with you. Can't wait to see you on the plains. Alex Golesh is in it. A lot of the players are in it. And I just thought that was cool because in all the other ones, it's just kind of like a generated, edited video. This one seemed way more personal. They did something similar to this years ago when they were recruiting Cam Coleman. But I like this. I think that's super, super cool. I'm curious to see if it makes an impression or not. You're muted. GOAT. Legend. There it is.
I've seen a lot of schools do different things, but this one is a little bit more outside the box because players don't normally get involved with recruitments, and it goes all over the internet. That stuff's usually just private. So good for Auburn for coming up with this. And the kid obviously liked it because he doesn't retweet it if he didn't. Some kids don't care about it. They found
or I think it was just a video sent to him and he just posted it, which is probably even better, I would think.
Yeah, and he's a kid from East Texas. He's as good a player as there is in the state of Texas for the class of 27. That kind of speaks for itself. And he has offers from pretty much every school in the country. I don't know how Auburn's getting involved with East Texas kids, but that's a whole nother good news piece for the Tigers. Any kid you can get out of Texas as the bonus, yeah, that's a sign me up kind of thing if you're an Auburn Tigers fan. So yeah, I don't know if he'll play right tackle or guard, but I would take him in a second. He's got great film.
Yeah, no, you get him on your team and then you figure it out. Absolutely. So that is Ismael Camara, 5-star from Gilmer, Texas. All right, let's pivot to some of these offensive linemen. We've talked about some of these guys before. Jamarion Simmons, Tallahassee, Florida. 4-star guy across the board, top 10 receiver caliber in this class. Really, really good player. Seems like Clemson might be an early lean. Seems like Florida State is in this one. But based off of readings, all the stories that are out there, like it doesn't seem like Auburn is backing off for Jamarion Simmons at all.
Jamarion's a kid I know well. He was actually in my car over 10 hours a couple weekends ago as I drove him around the South to try to get him to a 7-on-7 tournament. He is elite as it gets. He's got an offer from every school. He just won different awards at a couple of different camps, Rivals Miami, Orlando Under Armour. He was top 3 like at both camps. It kind of speaks for itself. And he makes guys look really dumb on the 7-on-7 tournament.
His tape is crazy.
Oh, you ought to see the 7-on-7. The stuff I get to see from 5 feet away is incredible. Like
I'm sure.
I'd love to see him in a dunk competition. He's about 5'11", but it doesn't matter. He's got insane hops. And
do you tell him about how great it was when you lived at Auburn for a little bit? How great of a town it was? You spent a lot of time on that?
No, I have not. I'll see him this weekend. I'll pass it along.
Like, tell him you lived in Auburn until a few months ago, and it was like the best place you've ever lived. Be sure to drop that note, please. That'd be great.
Zach is not biased, as you can tell. No, he's completely wide open.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clemson and Florida State have had the most visits. Clemson just got in on him early. I don't know why. He literally lives 6 minutes from Florida State's campus. He's a Tallahassee kid, but he could go anywhere. Auburn's involved, Miami's involved, Florida's involved, and he's kind of all shucks about it. He knows that there's opportunities. He's going to take his trips. And Auburn, I think, is in March, if I remember right from talking to him. They're in the mix. And I can't remember the date, but they're in the mix. We'll see. But Clemson is probably the team to beat because they've had the longest relationship with him in terms of like prioritizing.
Makes sense.
Oklahoma and Florida State haven't been real good here lately, especially Florida State. So the door is open, as they said. He would be a day one impact guy wherever he goes. Yeah,
I mean, his high school stuff is insane. So Tay Walden, another receiver, plays both ways. So he's listed as an athlete. I think he plays for the same 7-on-7 team, right? He plays for your team there. So Collierville, Tennessee, Do y'all have him at wide receiver or DB?
We've had 2 tournaments. First one he played receiver. The second one he played DB.
Does he want to play both? Is that important to him?
It's a possibility. I've talked to him about it. Tay is freaky. He might be even freakier than Jamarion athletically. He played DB the last tournament at Battle of Vegas. Nobody would throw at him because he's the 6'1" plus corner. They see him and they throw to the other guy. Like he had like 2 passes thrown his direction. So I don't even know how good he is at it, but he's a track kid. Oregon and LSU desperately want him. So that kind of puts things in perspective. He can go to any school he wants to. He's got them all. Real quiet kid, lives just outside of Memphis. Auburn's a school that he mentions quite a bit when I talk to him. He doesn't know what he wants to do for sure, but he's leaning corner. But if you tell him he can play receiver too, it's not going to hurt you. And he's a track kid. He's got all the measurables. So his recruitment will probably drag out for a while. He's overwhelmed at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jamarion Simmons, and then Tay Walden, two guys to keep some tabs on there. Have you heard anything about Carlos May? I mean, it was about a week ago where we kind of saw a few predictions go. Carlos May to Auburn, in-state, Birmingham kid, goes to Ramsey. Top 247 has him as the 6th best player in the state of Alabama. Big body, big frame. We don't know when the timing is going to be when these guys commit, but it definitely seems like Auburn is in the lead still here.
This is a rather unique recruitment. I was reading actually the Auburn 24/7 site. They were talking about it like he's had national teams come at him and it's come in waves. Ohio State, Notre Dame, Alabama, Auburn, like it's a major deal. And I wonder if he's a little bit like Tay. He's a little overwhelmed because like this just really started picking up weight last year. And his offer list now is through the roof. Right. So it may drag out a while because I'm sure the NIL is a part of it as well. So I imagine he'll probably go through spring before he makes a whole bunch of decisions to even narrow it down. And I'm not even sure what schools will be his OVs. His list is that long. So Auburn's the leader, but I don't know what the timeline really is.
Yeah. He may make a decision soon.
Well done.
Sorry. Okay. Let's talk about a few defensive backs in just a moment. Right here on Locked on Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Doesn't matter what sport or what type of event it is you're looking for, Game Time has you covered. And hopefully we're able to use the Game Time app to buy tickets all over the country if Auburn can make the tournament. They got to close out here. But Game Time, especially if you're going to a venue you've never been to before, Game Time's the best. You can see the view from your seat. A lot of information in the app. So take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase today. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy flavor draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready. And I've got my number one pick for the 5 Hour Energy flavor draft. We all know what it is. Let's say it together. 3, 2, 1. Grape. Grape is the number one pick in the 5 Hour Energy flavor draft. You can find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Final few minutes of today's edition of Locked On Auburn. Brian Smith, host of The Portal, hanging out with us. Let's pivot to defensive back, and these are some really good players. Jayden, help me out here. Help me out here with Jayden's full name, please.
Apparatio.
Jayden Apparatio Bailey, the 4-star safety with, his offer list. You sent me a screenshot of his offer list, and I think you had to zoom out.
I did.
To get it all in the screenshot. So seems like Auburn has kind of broken in as of late. This staff is playing from behind. They are recruiting from behind. You and I talked about that a little bit last week. They're trying to kind of, rush a little bit of these relationships just because they're in a new spot. And some of these kids wouldn't talk to them when they're at South Florida, but now they'll talk to them now that they're at Auburn. And I think it's like, it's a lot of this, right? Like getting into these guys that are still talking to, 8 to 10 schools and just kind of hoping you can make an impression, whether it's with a strong offer, whether it's, relationships just clicking, or fit just kind of being, appealing to them. There's a million reasons why a kid would want to pick a certain school, but Jayden is a heck of a player. No question about it.
He is, from what I've heard, Kirby's number one guy. That's really all.
Great.
Well, I can't help you with that part, but it's a good sign that he can play is all I'm saying.
Sure.
But he lives in the greater Montgomery area. He's a player that's been on the board for everybody.
Yeah, goes to Prattville. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great program. And he's able to play safety, or he can play some nickel. Like he's basically this class's Eric Winters in terms of style and athleticism, and that is not a bad thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I would imagine that since he lives an hour away, he'll be able to make it to campus pretty easy. The question is, where do they sit now because of what you said about the relationship part? I don't know him, but I would imagine that he has as many opportunities to make it all the way to, whatever school he wants. He can wait as long as he wants. So this could drag out a while, which probably benefits Auburn.
Yeah. All right. Another one, Joshua Dobson, 5-star defensive back. 247 has him listed as a corner.
He is
number 2 corner in the country, according to 247. Seems like Auburn is at least talking to him. Seems like DVD, DeMarcus Van Dyke. Seems like they have a relationship. I think he was recruiting him when he was involved at Miami. And so I think that relationship kind of already stands. So we'll see how strong that can be down the stretch here. But this guy can ball.
He is my number 1 pick in terms of all-around corner in this class, playing man or zone. Saw him last summer at Future 50, and it was a loaded group. John Meredith and some other. I think Meredith is number 1 player by 24/7. Give me either one, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
He's long, he's fast. Miami's prioritizing him. Notre Dame went after him hard. Auburn, you name it, they've offered. He's been to campus already. I remember we talked about him about a month or so ago. If they can get him back again this spring, it would up their chances considerably. But the fact that he's already been to Auburn for a hoops game shows that he's truly interested. This is come in and play right away, Jay Crawford kind of level player.
Yeah, would love Joshua Dobson being part of the 2027 class. All right, last guy we'll talk about today, unless you throw some more out here. Junior James, safety from Thompson. 4-star in the 247 composite. Obviously, Thompson, a program that you and I respect a ton. And one of the, I don't know if you heard it or read it somewhere, but one of the logic for recruiting him that you told me right before we clicked record, I thought was hilarious and also a very good point.
Yeah, I was reading the 24/7 Auburn page. They're like, they've signed a safety from there 3 years in a row. Why not 4?
Yeah, why not? They've all worked out so far. So yeah, let's just continue doing that, please. Thank you.
By the way, the other safety is elite too, and he could end up at all. It's their entire secondary every year.
Yeah, you had me sold at Thompson. Great. Yeah, I'm down. Let's try it. Let's see what happens.
He played corner the last weekend when I was there, and I thought he was a corner. He's 6'3". Like, he's very fluid, so he can play a lot of spots.
Yeah. Yep. Still, it still seems like Golesh is working his tail off. You're seeing him at all these events, and you got to assume when they're going to these events that he's recruiting and like visiting the local kids in that area as well. Doesn't seem like the guy slept at all, but that's what it takes. That's what it takes.
Yeah. The lift has been taken. It's no longer the dead period. We're into the period where they can go out and do stuff a little bit. It kind of goes back and forth. The next couple of weeks will be important for Auburn, especially because of what you said earlier. Hey, some of these kids wouldn't talk to them at USF. No offense to the Bulls, but it's G6. Right. Southeastern Conference moniker on your shirt changes the ball game. I have no idea how you make up that time. You just do the best you can. Mm-hmm. So every visit for Auburn is probably a little more important than it is for like Kirby. Like, everybody knows where Kirby. You say Kirby, You don't have to say the score. Everybody knows who you're talking about.
Right.
Golesh is the new guy on the block. So him getting out and being active, which, by the way, shout out to you, Freeze. The one thing he was great at was recruiting. He's really good at it.
At least early on. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. And now Golesh, I mean, he's been a recruiting coordinator. So I'm curious to see what he can do this year, especially in state. They're battling to get several kids that Alabama wants. And this is fun for me to cover. I enjoy this very, very much.
I mean, every stop of the way as, his ascension to being a head coach, whatever level or whatever conference he was at, where he was at was the best at recruiting amongst its peers, amongst its conference. So we'll see. I mean, this is as big as it gets, if you can recruit, against your peers at this level, you can recruit against anybody. So we'll see what happens with Alex Golesh, and we'll see if any of the guys we talked about today end up in Auburn's class. I certainly hope that is the case. Brian Smith, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Locked On the portal, everything that you do to get to Locked On Auburn, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, whatever. Same deal with Locked On the portal. Doing a lot of quarterback profiles. Actually did one Byron Brown the other day. It's a lot of fun.
I need to go watch it.
Yeah, it is up. So it's about a week ago. It was Sunday. So not quite a week. Lots of stuff going on the portal podcast.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. If you're tuned in on audio, please subscribe and leave us a review. Helps the show out a ton. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.